2, 3, 4. Y'all want to know the score. Testing. Here we go. Microphone. This is MV broadcasting from a very windy, cloudy, but bright Cardiff. It's been a week since my last broadcast. I've been busy man. I was listening this morning, however, to Beatles Eternally in my ear as usual, and watching the broadcast from last night. I think I dipped in a little bit earlier on in one of the earlier ones, and I really enjoyed the after chat. So what have I been up to before I start off this 1982 week, beginning the 24th of April? I've been busy with work, but also been messing around with some games, some board games. Yes, I've turned back the clock and I've done some card and dice with a fantastic game called Soccer Blast, which I've kind of left alone the last couple of days actually. Started off the week messing around with it, learning how to play it and remembering the joy of card and dice. Half the joy is rolling them dice and turning them cards, and then picture it in your mind. That's been great to play that. Played a bit of Holland 78 versus, let's see now, Brazil 78. Learning how to do the formulas, created a spreadsheet. That's how I learn visual, and I put it on a spreadsheet and kind of work out the mechanics. And then another game which has really caught my imagination last couple of days I bought it, International Cricket by Terry Goodchild, a great British game maker. This game is sold on Lamborn Games, and discovered the wealth of games there, Lamborn Games. Now, I've been on Lamborn Games before, and a lot of the British ones that were around, say, 10, 15 years ago, very popular. I think they still are. But I've returned to baseball today. I would have broadcast yesterday. I've been very tired after yet another stressful day at the office, because I work from home. And, figuring out what's next. I have my plans in place. It's just having the patience to exist while those plans come to fruition. So, but nothing beats your hobbies. The hobbies are there for a reason. A lot of my hobbies are internal, playing games online, reading, writing, and now I'm fiddling around a bit of AI, creating art, all kinds of stuff. So it's been good fun. But here we are, returned to 1982. I chose this season a few weeks back now. I've been doing this for about 5 weeks. And 1 week at a time. So if I play on a Friday, the following Friday the game is advanced a week. And if I play it on a given day of the week, then I'll just advance a day. And just haven't been on the baseball as much as I'd like. But I am listening and following everyone's streams, particularly in the morning as I get ready for work. I sit down like this morning, Saturday morning, didn't have any breakfast. But I was listening to Beatles. It's like listening to the radio, isn't it, to be honest? And it really got me in the mood. So I thought I'd do a little baseball. So here we go. This is a scheduled game. Let's have a look and see who's playing. Who's pitching. I do like a good pitching matchup. So it's April the 24th. Let's just take a quick look at the standings. The Yankees, after a really good start in 1982, the reality, in real life, they were not that good that season. I've got lineups to change at some point. Hopefully I press the right buttons. Forgive my voice, it's a little bit rough this morning. The White Sox after a decent start in the West, the Yankees on a surprise, and the Cleveland Indians. Look at Cleveland, who Andre Thornton doesn't have a card. So Thornton, who is the first baseman, I vaguely remember him, he needs a card. We'll do that later. So as you go around the league, I have DH on. Yes, I do. Both leagues. Interleague on. Although the very first week I forgot to press the right button, so the pitchers did bat. And then I have, What else have I got on? Ghost runners on second. And that has worked really well. I don't know what the fuss is about. Beatles and I have a bit of a joke about that. Clue and I and Beatles were on about 2 weeks ago discussing it in great detail. I like it. So here we go. Let's have a look. The Cardinals, who won it all in 82, they're 15-5. They're off to a great start. Let's just put it on replay stats for a moment. My voice warms up. From a pitching point of view, Joaquin Andar has just taken his first loss. But at the moment, he's 5-1 with a 1.22 ERA. Look at that, ERA plus. Wow. Good start. Somebody called Andy Rincon, 23-year-old. I've never heard of him. He's on a 3-game winning streak for St. Louis. Is it St. Louis or St. Louis? I'm going to say St. Louis. So I'll put some more uniforms on there. That's good. Bob Forsch, 3-2, but 8.10 ERA. So it must be the hitting that's doing the business. It's an OPS. Take the best one is Keith Hernandez for the regular players. Batting .289, 2 home runs, and .379 on base. David Green, Wells West Gamer, and I watched this. Hello, James the Bot. Wells West Gamer and I were looking at him particularly. I've never heard of David Green, and WWG looked him up. And there he is, 21 years old. After a good start to the season, batting .355. Not sure how long that will last. I don't remember David Green. Dane Org, is that how you say his name? Off to a good start. Tito Landrum, a more familiar name. Lonnie Smith batting .286. Tommy, so there's the regular guys down there as well. Ozzie Smith's also a really good start in terms of on base. Stolen bases, I'd have thought they would have had a bit more by now, but Lonnie Smith and Ozzie Smith lead there. So welcome if you catch this later on. So I'm broadcasting on a completely different time zone from the UK. So here we go with a game. I may come back on later after I do some chores, but I thought I could knock one out. Actually, in Britain, that means something completely different. I shall do one. Also, that means something. Let me get the right words. Knock one out and do one. Another way to start a Saturday morning. Actually, in some other ways, it is. So let's have a look. Mike Witt and got no. Underwood against Bobby Ojeda, who I do like, with the Mets, not with the Red Sox. But I put the little H there, just as Steve Tate's team you may want to see Detroit, Boston. We've got the surprising Indians. Now, were they good in 1982? I can't recall, but I do know there was a bit of a youth movement by 1985. I know that from memory. Chicago, New York. Ferguson Jenkins going there, the veteran. 0-3 for the hapless Cubbies. There's my Mets. Let's go Mets. The magic is back. Montreal, a team I'd like to watch as well. They're doing okay. 5-5. The Milwaukee Brewers, only 10-10. Now, we do have some Brewers fans in the community that I saw the other night. Baltimore and Texas. Flanagan going again. The Twins, not a team I really enjoy watching. Never have done. Never seen anything in that team. 7-13 against the White Sox. Britt Burns going there. Could watch him. This looks like a good one. John Candelaria going for Pittsburgh as they try and stop the march of the Cardinals. Kansas City 11-9. Seattle 8-12. Ruthven and Royce. Is that Jerry Royce? That could be a game to watch. San Diego Padres, the Friars, are now 10-10. They've evened themselves up a bit. So we're likely to do Detroit-Boston, because we've not seen Detroit yet, I don't think. There's a couple of teams we've not seen yet. Bob Nepper and Rick Mailer, scruffy guy. Now I know there's I think it's Dwayne Martz is a Atlanta fan. I do like watching Baltimore. So we're going to do Detroit-Boston. Boston's the home team. I'm not sure that's the best Fenway I could have chosen, but there it is. I can change it. I like to mess around with this stuff. Let's look for a Fenway Park. I become a bit of a nerd with this stuff. I do have quite a collection, actually. Off that I've not even put in here. Oh dear. I should have done it by year, shouldn't I? This one looks a little bit better. That one looks okay. Ooh, that looks... Fenway DB. What does that mean? That doesn't even look like Fenway. Yes, it does. So now let's look at the Boston lineup the computer suggested. GM is on. There's more familiar names from Detroit. Here we go. Welcome to Fenway Park, everyone. It's a bit rainy today as Pat Underwood starts for Detroit, and he's going against one of my favorites, Bob Ojeda. Bob Ojeda was, as we all know, was a New York Met in 1986. Went on to win the World Series with the Mets. Now, I don't remember him. I remember him from '86, but I didn't know any of him before that. It wasn't a name I was familiar with. Let's have a look at the teams in this Fenway Park. I'm going to have to note to self to get me a more graphically pleasing or aesthetically pleasing Fenway Park. But let's have a look at the Red Sox in the field. Behind the plate today is Gary Allenson. At first is Dave Stapleton, need a photo. Jerry Remy at second. At shortstop, Glenn Hoffman. These are not names I'm familiar with. I'm familiar with Dave Stapleton and Jerry Remy. Carney Lansford I'm definitely familiar with from the Oakland A's days. In left field, of course, Jim Rice. Center field, Rick Miller, a name I became familiar with in 1998, playing Baseball Pro, or Pro Baseball 98, which was, I think, just way ahead of its time. And in right field, Dwight Dewey Evans. 3 or 4. Defensively, Evans is the main man there with a 10. But much else, Allenson has a strong arm behind the plate. On the mound, Bobby Ojeda. Ojeda this year is 4-6 with a 5.63 ERA and a 1.583 WHIP. The Red Sox are 8-12. Let's have a look at that Detroit lineup, more familiar to me. Leading off for them will be Lou Whitaker, and this is a picture by Steve Tate. Batting behind him is a lifelong partner at the Keystone is Alan Trammell. Batting third, Howard Johnson, another future Met. Hojo is 21 years old in this replay. Batting cleanup, Lance Parrish. Batting fifth, Larry Herndon. I didn't know Herndon was black, I don't remember him. I thought he was white until just now. Is that the right photo? Batting sixth, Kirk Gibson. Batting seventh, Tom Brookins. My vote for the Tom Selleck lookalike. Batting eighth, man very underrated now, veteran stage, Enos Cabell. And batting ninth, Lynn Jones, 29-year-old veteran in right field. On the mound for Detroit today will be Pat Underwood, 25 years old, fly ball pitcher. So this is a classic American League game today. Let's have a quick look at Boston again. Jerry Remy, Carney Lansford, Hall of Famer Jim Rice, should be Hall of Famer Dwight Evans. Batting DH, I think it is last season, Carl Yastrzemski, and Yaz is having a good season. Batting 6th, Dave Stapleton. Batting 7th, Rick Miller. Batting 8th, the catcher, Gary Allenson. And the shortstop, Glenn Hoffman. So here we go, first pitch. Lou Whitaker at the plate. Whitaker off to a slow start, batting just .205 on the year. Ojeda is ready. Allenson puts the target down. It's 2-2 to count. It's 59 degrees here in Boston with a bit of light rain. Trammell on deck. Here's the 2-2 from Ojeda. And that's popped up to short. And Solly Hoffman has it for the putout. One away. Bobby Ojeda, 24 years old. He's a fly plus pitcher. He can start and he can relieve. Coming up next, the right-hand hitting Alan Trammell. Hitting .274 with a home run and 7 RBIs. Leads the league in doubles. Here's the 2-2, 3-2. And Ojeda walks him, so Trammell will go to first. Bring up Howard Johnson. 21-year-old Howard Johnson. A good hitter in for the Mets. Later on in his career, so Ojeda looks in. Trammell on first. Ojeda will throw over. Trammell dives down for the base. Is safe on the call. Stadium, a historic stadium. I love that green monster in left field. Could never understand the design of it myself personally. Johnson at the plate waits. Here's a 2-2. It's popped up into foul territory. Stapleton chased after it. It's gone foul. Johnson ready. Ojeda with a 2-2. Wild pitch. That gets past Anderson, and Trammell will scamper down to second. Nothing here in the first. 1 out. Ojeda looks around. Some veterans in the ball club. Jim Rice out in left field. Dwight Evans in right field. Evans is 30 years old. Jim Rice is 29. Ojeda looks in for the sign. Allison puts the target down. Runner on second. It's 3-2 count. Shallow fly ball down to left field, and Jim Rice under it and gloves it for the second out. Two away as Lance Parrish steps up. Runner on second. Count is 1-1. And a line drive straight at Rice to end the inning. End the half inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors. And the Red Sox are now at the plate. Having a look at that defense there for Detroit. Parrish behind the plate. Cabell at first. Not a good first baseman. Whitaker and Trammell. Excellent up the middle. Tom Brookins at third. Left field, Larry Herndon. Center field, Kirk Gibson. So Herndon has some good range in left field. Jones out in right. But the stars of that defense is Lou Whitaker at second and Alan Trammell. Leading off for Boston, Jerry Remy. Remy off to a really good start. Lefty versus lefty. Here's the 1-2 from Underwood. Grounded to third. Brookins fields it over to first for Remy. So Tom Brookins, the Magnum lookalike, up with it. One away. Let's have a look at Pat Underwood on the mound for Detroit. 25 years old. Fly ball pitcher. Underwood on the season so far as 0-1. He's only pitched 5 innings. In the real 1982, he went 4-8 with a 4.73 ERA. Lansford steps in now, batting 286. And a base hit for Connie Lansford. One on base for Boston. It's Jerry Rice. Jim Rice at the plate. Runner on first. Here's the 1-2 from Underwood. Great play by Trammell. Over to Whitaker. Over to Cabell. Double play. Diving stop by Alan Trammell. Should be 2 and they got 2. So we go to the top of the second after we saw gold glove play from Alan Trammell. Here's Larry Herndon at the plate. He'll start the innings, batting 234 on the year. Here's the 0-2, and that's blasted to right field. Miller lunged for it, can't get it, and Herndon off with a leadoff double. So a double for Detroit. Kirk Gibson comes in now. Runner in scoring position. Gibson batting 270 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Here's the 1-2 from Ojeda, and that's hit into right field. Herndon will hold it third, and Gibson with a single. So Ojeda off to a rough start with hits. Just give it 2, but not looking that good. Here's Brookins, and we just need to just alter something here. Yeah, that's better. Tom Brookins at the plate, batting 232. Cabell on deck, men on first and third. A bunt, not successful. Ojeda with the 0-2. Brookins pops it up, and Hoffman underneath it for the out. Brings in Enos Cabell, batting 169. Runners at the corners. Here's the 2-1 from Ojeda. That's hit deep to left field. Rice will corral it, but Herndon will score 1-0 Tigers. So Cabell drives in a run. Tempted to say Jerry Rice is Jim Rice in left field. So 1-0 Detroit as Lynn Jones steps in. He's batting 200. Whitaker on deck, runner on first. Ojeda stares in. Here's the 1-2. And Jones strikes out. So the first strikeout for Ojeda. And 1 run scores, 2 hits, no errors after 1.5. Detroit 1, Boston 0. Brings up Dwight Evans, batting 304. Leading off for Boston in the bottom of the second. Here's the 0-1 and a base hit to left field. Herndon will fire it back in. Man on for Boston. Here's the man we've come to see, Carl Yastrzemski. Earlier on in the season, I saw him hit 2 runs in Seattle. Yaz now 42 years old. Swinging from the left, batting DH. Beatles DH. Runner on first. Here's the 1-2. Straight at short and Trammell up with it. 1 away. I just with you, Beatles. Here's Dave Stapleton now, 213 hitter. Has got some power. Underwood looks in, runner on first. Here's the 0-2 from Underwood. And that's hit deep to left field, but Larry Herndon with the speed to track it down. 2 away. Here's Rick Miller. I don't know much about Rick Miller. 34 years old now, Rick Miller. In the real 1982, he hit 4 home runs. Not much of a hitter. Underwood looks in. Runner on first. Here's the 3-2. Fly ball down the left field line. And Herndon has it in left. So after 2, Detroit 1, Boston 0. Go to the top of the third inning now, leading off for Detroit. Sweet Lou Whitaker. Whitaker just batting .202. Here's the 1-2 from Ojeda. It's a cutter hit to center field. Miller going back. It is gone. 2-0 Tigers. Lou Whitaker takes this 1 yard. 348 feet. So Lou Whitaker with a bomb. Let's look at it again. There's a cutter from Ojeda. It's deep to left, deep to center field, out of here. Big home run from Lou Whitaker. 2-0 Tigers. So Bobby getting roughed up here. Alan Trammell steps in. Nobody out, top of the third. Trammell walked last time up. Here's a 3-2. And Ojeda lost him. Ojeda throwing a lot of pitches. A bit wild today. And Trammell's on first. Brings up Howard Johnson. 0 for 1. The 21-year-old Howard Johnson at the plate. Looking at his future teammate, Bobby Ojeda. Ojeda looks in. Johnson's ready. Allison puts the target down. Ojeda kicks and deals on the 1-0. Up the middle. And a base hit for Hojo. So Trammell will move to second. Howard Johnson is on first. It's funny, I changed this setting in the exhibition I did just before this. Just a little preference. It's a bit weird. I did change these settings in my exhibition game, but they're not as big. Why is that? Sorry to interrupt this just for a second. That's weird. Anyway, I had these photos a little bit bigger in my exhibition with the uniform showing, so I'm not sure why that's not showing now. Player photos. Oh well. Oh, maybe I don't have any uniform set for Boston and Detroit. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Duh. Here we go. Ojeda looks in. Man on first and second, and Ojeda loses a man again. I'm leaving the CPU to deal with this. The Boston bullpen starts to warm up. We've got Berm, Geyer, Hurst, Aponte, Clear, and Stanley. 3 walks for Bobby Ojeda so far. Here's Larry Herndon, 1 for 1. He's got a grand slam on the season. 3 men on, bases loaded. Here's the 1-2 from Ojeda. And a ground ball base hit for Herndon. Trammell will score. That's 3-0 Detroit. Here's Kirk Gibson, batting .280. He's 1 for 1. Here's the 3-2 from Ojeda. Hit deep to left field. Johnson will tug up on Rice, and Rice will throw it back to the infield. 4-0 Detroit. Tom Brookins steps in. He's ready to go. Ojeda is ready. Here's a 3-1, and Ojeda really struggling here. The manager letting him out stay there. 4 walks for Bobby. Allison will come out now to talk to Ojeda. He'll sit back down behind the plate. Bases loaded. Enos Cabell at the plate. Cabell is batting .169. Here's the 0-2. And Ojeda gets his strikeout. Just seen the fight between AJ and Dillian White has been cancelled. I've gone off AJ. This let me down. I do actually believe he'll become world champion again in boxing. Actually. But don't step in the ring with Deontay Wilder, because I think Wilder will knock him spark out. Here's Lynn Jones at the plate. 2 men off, 2 men out. Bases loaded still. Here's the first pitch. And it's to Stapleton with a lovely play. Over to Ojeda, and they get him to retire the side. 3 runs do score on 3 hits, no errors. After 2.5, Detroit 4, Boston nothing. Here's Gary Allenson at the plate. Allison the catcher. First time up in the ball game. He's 0.88 on the season. First pitch, grounder up the middle. Trammell to his left. Nice slick play by Trammell for the out. Stepping up there is Glenn Hoffman. Really anemic Boston offense, it looks like. Underwood looking good. Remy on deck. Here's the 1-1. And Hoffman, as I said it was anemic, hits it again off the Green Monster for a double. He went back, Herndon watched it, played it well though, off the wall. Great how they do the chalkboard. So a double for Glenn Hoffman. Jerry Remy steps in now. Batting .337. Runner on second. Here's the 2-1. Grounder, and Hoffman thinking about going around third. But Larry Herndon played it well again. So runners at the corners for Boston. And the tough Carney Lansford steps in, third baseman. Runners at first and third. Underwood is set. Here is the 1-2. And straight at Underwood. Good change up there from Pat Underwood. Underwood. Not a name I remember. He's 25 years old. It's like a choir boy out there. That's nicely done here. I think the girls would like him. He should be in a pop band. As Jerry Rice steps in. Oh, for what? Jerry Rice. Jim Rice steps in. I can't stop saying Jerry. 2 out for Boston. Looking to get on the board. Runs at first and third. Here's the 1-1. And they do as Hoffman comes on a base hit by Jim Rice. And Remy to third. So runners still at the corners. Boston scored their first run of the ball game in the bottom of the third. And one of their power hitters steps up. Dwight Evans. Runs at first and third. Here's the 3-1. High and outside. And Underwood walks him, so bases are now loaded. And we've got Carl Yastrzemski on the mound at the plate. Yaz is 3-1. Raz has had a grand slam on the season. I think I saw that in Seattle. Yaz, a good case for DH. He's had 8 home runs already in this short season. 8 home runs in the month of April at the age of 42. Yeah, 42 sounds so old in baseball back then. And now I'm 10 years older than that now. And I still feel young. Here's Yaz. Let's go, Yaz. Underwood looks in. Lefty versus lefty. Lance Parrish puts the target down. Bases loaded. Here's a 2-0. Deep fly ball to right field, but Lynn Jones quietens the crowd as he camped under it to make the catch to retire the side. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. We've played 3 complete. Detroit 4, Boston 1. Ojeda coming out there again now for the top of the fourth. He says he might be tired. So get him out of there then. In future, I may start taking over some of these teams. Whitaker's ready. 1 for 2. Hit a solo home run in the third. Trammell on deck. Here's the 1-2 from Ojeda. Deep fly ball to center field, but Rick Miller will cover it. And now Ojeda's gone red. He should be out of there shortly. In the fourth inning, Bobby, what have you done? Here's Alan Trammell. Walked in the third. Ojeda has a sign. 1 ball, no strikes. Base hit for Trammell. The Boston bullpen working away there. As Hojo steps in, 1 for 2. Albert Johnson, 21 years old. Looking around that ballpark, see the Volvo sign, the Ford sign, Budweiser in right field sign. Definitely need a new photo. Ojeda looks in. Johnson is ready. Throw out to first. Trammell gets back safely. Ojeda will concentrate now as Allison puts the sign down. Howard Johnson is ready. He's 1 for 2. Switch hitter. Grounded down to first. Dave Stapleton has it. Steps on first for the out. Trammell will advance to second. Ojeda up to 99 pitches and is tired. This is 1982, however. So by now he would have been yanked. But I've got the settings on 6. What have I got it on? 6 earned runs here out. It's a global setting. But of course, the bullpens are overworked and it's not as big as normal. Bobby, ready. Parrish looks in, 0 for 1. Drew a base on balls in the third. Here's the 1-1. Lined to left field, base hit. And the runner will score. Trammell scores on a line drive to left field. It's fair and in the corner, so Parrish with a double. That curveball hung there from Ojeda. And Parrish took advantage. 2 out here, and Detroit go up another run. They lead 5-1. Here's Larry Herndon. 2 for 2 in the ball game. And they've made a change as Bergmeyer comes in. Here's the 2-2. Ground is a short. Hoffman up with it over to Stapleton. They get Herndon. So, at 1 run scores, 2 hits, no errors in that half of the inning for Detroit. After 3.5, Detroit 5, Boston 1. Red Sox lineup does not look that exciting. As Stapleton steps in, he's 0 for 1. Dave Stapleton hit .264 with 14 home runs and 65 RBIs. We need a photo for Dave. Here's the 1-0 curveball, grounded to left field. Herndon up with it, and that is a single for Dave Stapleton. Here's Rick Miller, batting from the left-hand side, the veteran center fielder. Stapleton not much of a threat to steal at first. Being held by Cabell. Underwood will look over. Man on first. Underwood has the sign. Doesn't like that one. Now he's got one he likes. The count is full. Breaking ball. And Underwood mishandles that one on the mound, and Miller will get the first. First error on the season for Pat Underwood. Stapleton at second, Miller at first. As Gary Allenson comes to the plate. Now, Allenson only hit .205. He's a weak hitter. So Underwood should dispatch him, hopefully. Runner on first and second. Here's the 1-2. Struck him out. So first strikeout for Pat Underwood. It's looking good today. As Solly Hoffman comes to the plate. Another weak hitter. Solly batting just 209. On their bench, who do they have? A young Wade Boggs. Well, young, he's 24. Rich Gedman, these guys are coming through, is 22. Tony Perez, the veteran, on the bench. Not much to say about him. Well, he can play. And Julio Valdez. It's not much. Two young guys that were playing in the 1986 World Series. Boggs will go on to play again for the Yankees in 1996 and win another ring. In fact, win a ring. I don't think he did not win. Did he win somewhere else? I think he definitely won with the Yankees in 1996. I think he shared duties with Charlie Hayes, from my memory. Here's Hoffman. Man on first and second. Here's the 0-1. Deep fly ball to right field. This could go. This might go. But doesn't. Lynn Jones has it in right field. Nice play by Lynn Jones. Go way back there with a big floppy mustache, as was the fashion. Everyone wanted to be like Reggie. So Stapleton at second. Miller at first. Parrish behind the plate, good catcher. Would win the World Series in 1984. In fact, looking around the Detroit team, let's see who was there in 84. I know Parrish was, I know Whitaker was, and Trammell, and Gibson. I think Herndon was, and I think Brookins was. All these guys. So the core was there, and Parrish. The core was there. I can't tell you about Pat Underwood. Here's Jerry Remy, 1 for 2. Boston, 2 out. Bottom of the fourth, they trail 5-1. Lansford on deck. Here's a 3-2. And high and inside, and Remy earns the walk. It's scary on Facebook when you see people reacting to your photo and you haven't posted anything for a week. You start to wonder, what the hell did I post in my sleep? Here's Connie Lansford. Bases loaded with the Red Sox. Lansford has some power, or he has the ability, I should say. It's probably their best hitter behind Jim Rice. He's 0 for 1. Bases loaded. Here's a 2-0 from Underwood. Hard drive to first straight at Enos Cabell. So after 4 innings, Detroit 5, Boston 1. On the mound for Boston now, in relief of a disappointing Ojeda, is Tom Bergmeyer. Now he's another veteran, 38 years old. Tom Bergmeyer. Let's have a quick look at Bergmeyer on the web. Played for the Angels and the Royals, looks like. So Bergmeyer on the mound for Boston. The ground ball pitcher. So on the season, in real life actually, he went 7-0. So a good effective pitcher is Tom Bergmeyer in that season. So you'd see him lefty versus lefty as Kirk Gibson comes to the plate. Gibson 1 for 1. Had a single in the second. Brookins on deck. Bergmeyer gets the sign. Here's the 1-1. Dribble to Remy. Fires to first to retire Gibson. 1 away. Jerry Remy at second for Boston. He's their leadoff hitter. He's 29 years old. There's Tom Brookins now, 0 for 1. Brookins walked last time up. Bergmeyer is a ground ball pitcher. He looks in, gets a sign from Allenson. Cabell on deck. Here's the 0-2. Cut and missed on by Brookins. So Brookins will sit down. First strikeout for Bergmeyer. Boston trying to get back into this ball game. Stating the obvious here. Enos Cabell at the plate. Batting just 167. Here's the 1-1. Here's the windup. Grounded to Sully at short. Hoffman up with it. Backhands it over to first. Got his man to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 4.5 innings, Detroit 5. Boston 1. Leading off for Boston, the bottom of the 5th. Jim Rice. Rice 1 for 2. Grounded a single out in the 3rd. Underwood gets a sign from Parrish. Here's the 1-1. And a frozen rope hit straight at Trammell, who goes up to collect that one. Nice play by Alan Trammell. We've seen a gem earlier on in the ball game. These are why Trammell and Whitaker are so well revered. Trammell is in the Hall of Fame, and Lou Whitaker should be. Here's Dewey Evans, 1 for 1. Here's the 1-1, grounded to Brookins. He's up with it, over to Cabell, and he gets it. Tom Brookins, a 5 at 3rd. Cabell, the veteran, at first. 2 away here for Boston. Calm afternoon here in Boston. Little bit of rain. This pitch, this ballpark favors right-hand power hitters and hitters. So Yastrzemski, his power won't come into play as much, I don't believe. Looking at the Fenway Park effects in 1982. 65 degrees here in Boston. Underwood gets the sign. Here's the 1-0. Deep fly ball to left center field. Larry Herndon's speed takes care of that one. He raced back to make the catch to retire the side. Nothing across for Boston in the bottom of the 5th. After 5 complete, Detroit 5, Boston 1. Bergmeyer comes out now on the mound. Veteran Bergmeyer looks in as Lynn Jones will lead off for Detroit. Whitaker up next. Here's the 0-2. Hit deep to right field, but Dwight Evans drifted back and waited for it to make the catch. 1 away. Digging in at the plate now is Sweet Lou Whitaker. I'm saying Sweet Lou. It wasn't Sweet Lou. I'm thinking of Sweet Lou Piniella. Let's have a look at Whitaker. Was he Sweet Lou as well? Yes, he was. So 2 Sweet Lou's. Sweet Lou Whitaker and Sweet Lou Piniella. The originality of it all staggers me. Here's Whitaker, 1 for 3. Batting from the left-hand side. Here's the 2-0. Deep fly ball down to left field. Jim Rice backed it up on the track, and he was under it to put away Whitaker. 2 away. Top of the 6th here for Detroit. There's Alan Trammell. He digs in. Single last time up. Here's a 2-2 from Bergmeyer. And that's down to hit down to Stapleton, who fielded it to take it to the bag himself. Nothing across to the top of the 6th. After 5.5 innings, Detroit 5. Boston 1. Leading up for Boston at the bottom of the 6th inning is Dave Stapleton. Here's the 0-2. Up the middle. Fielded by Underwood, who threw to first to Stapleton to retire him. To throw to first to Stapleton to retire the hitter. Let's say that again. Underwood threw to first to retire Stapleton. Said it right the first time. Here's Rick Miller batting 197. This surprised me how bad the Boston lineup is. Underwood stares in. Here's the 0-2. Up the middle. Underwood repeats the same maneuver to take away Stapleton. He does the same to take out Miller. Fielded it over the first. 2 away. Pat Underwood looking decent. He's pitched 93 pitches. Here's Allenson, a weak hitter at the plate. God, it must have been terrible to watch the Red Sox in this season. Here's the 2-2. Chop to second. Whitaker fields it over to Cabell and to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors after 6 complete. Detroit 5, Boston 1. Bergmeyer still on the hill as the bullpen for Boston just starts to warm up again. In that bullpen, you got Hurst, Aponte, Clear, and Stanley. Stanley and Hurst, I remember from 1986. I do remember Mark Clear as well, actually, but from what year I cannot remember. Is that Bruce or Ken Aponte? Louis Aponte. Look at that face. Bergmeyer is looking good so far, as Hojo leads off. For Detroit, Albert Johnson, 21 years old, steps in, switch hitter. Hit on the ground to Remy, and Remy fields it over to first, got him. So Hojo will take a seat for Detroit. Top of the 7th inning, 1 out. Here's Lance Parrish batting 296. 1 for 2 today. Here's a 2-0. And a little flare into left field for a base hit for Parrish. So Parrish is on. A little flare over Hoffman's head. Brings up Larry Herndon. Like I said, I did not know his ethnicity until today. Not sure why. I do remember watching Detroit on Sports Center in 1984 as a kid. Maybe I just didn't see Herndon or didn't pay attention. Now I know he's got speed, plays left field. It's a name I've always played. I must have not played it on Detroit games. As Hot Dog Man goes past me, making me hungry. Herndon 2 for 3. Drove in a runner, single to third. Runner on first. Here's the 2-2. Grounded to Hoffman. Hoffman to Remy. Remy over to Stapleton. 4-6-3 double play. Love that tune, especially that version of it. So, Glenn Hoffman now leads off for Boston in the bottom of the 7th. Boston looking very anemic at the plate. Only 209 in 1982. What were the Red Sox doing? Remy on deck. Underwood with a 2-2. Hard grounder. And Whitaker over the first. Got his man. 1 away. Lou Whitaker rated a 7 at second. Let's have a look at Lou Whitaker in more detail. Lou was 25 years old. Only 25. Earning $6 million in this season, according to the ratings in the game. I'm sure they're generic. A little bit off on his OPS so far this season. Pat Underwood looking really good. I really need to do some research into Underwood. And actually, besides the many books I've got, some couple of books that I do recommend, actually, from There's a book I read years ago when I first got into reading about baseball. Oh gosh, what was the book called? Just trying to remember. It'll come to me. Is it Roger Angel? He wrote 3 books covering scenes from God knows when, the early 60s, all the way up to say 84. So I might need to read that just to see. I want to see if Underwood shows up in that book. Here we are, Jerry Remy 1 for 2. Walked in the 4th. Grounded to 3rd. Brookins up with it. And Brookins just a bit slow with his peg to 1st. And it ended up being a bang-bang play. And Remy safe on 1st. Come on, Boston. Let's see what you can do. Here's Connie Lansford. 1 for 3 today. Parrish goes out to speak to Underwood. Lansford lined to 1st and the 4th man on 1st. And a bouncing ball to Cabell. Cabell to Trammell. Trammell back to Cabell. Double play. Good play by the veteran. Cabell at 1st. Over to Trammell. Trammell got it. Over to Cabell. Double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 7 complete. Detroit 5. Boston 1. Bergmeyer still has some left, it says. He's still out there. He's pitched pretty well. Bergmeyer in real life, 7-0. In relief, it looks like. Here's Kirk Gibson, 1 for 2. 4th inning of relief from Bergmeyer. Here's the 1-0. And it's drilled to center field for a base hit. Rick Miller will come and collect in center field. Rick Miller, the veteran, Rick Miller. And Gibson on 1st. How old was Kirk Gibson in 1982? He was 25. So you can see the beginnings of that 84 team. Here's Brookins, 0 for 2. Tom Selleck double. Allenson goes out to talk to Bergmeyer. Brookins at the plate. Runner on 1st. Bergmeyer gets the sign. Here's the 1-2. Grounded to Remy. Remy to his left. Could be 2. No, they don't get their man. Remy moved his left. Got it across to Hoffman. But Brookins beat the throw from Solly Hoffman. So Bergmeyer definitely showing signs of fatigue. Could be a pitching change coming up. Here's Enos Cabell, 0 for 2 today, the veteran. Man on 1st. Here's the 0-2. Deep high fly ball down to right field, and Dewey Evans will collect that easily. Dwight Evans, one of the best fielders in history in right field. With that gun of an arm. 2 away now for Detroit, top of the 8th. Brookins on 1st. Here's Lynn Jones, 0 for 3. Jones, in reality, he only hit 223. There's a bit of a weakness there. Runner on 1st. Here's the 1-2. Struck him out. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors after 7.5 innings. Detroit 5, Boston 1. Good pitching here from Pat Underwood for Detroit. And we've seen Bergmeyer come in and hold it down for Boston in relief. So Pat Underwood steps out there. He's pitched 111 pitches. His EPC is 120. So he'll be out of there soon. Here's Jim Rice. Let's see who Detroit have in their bullpen. Saucier, James, Pashnik, Rosima, a name I do remember. Sosa, is it Elias Sosa? It is. Funny how you remember names you've not heard or seen for a while. Or maybe subconsciously, you've just seen them in games over many years of playing, this type of game, Good morning, America. Good morning. If you're tuning in, watching this on replay, delayed broadcast, we shall call it, all right? The Red Sox are struggling here against the Detroit Tigers. Both teams after a poor start to the season. Pat Underwood looking good. Here's Jim Rice. Ready. Here's the 1-1. Straight at Brookins, who makes the catch. One away. Evans at the plate. He digs in now. Yaz is on deck. Evans walked in the third. Here's the 0-2 from Underwood. Base hit to left field by Evans. So Evans on base. One out. Here's Yastrzemski. Yaz in 1982 hit 275 with 16 home runs. He is doing superbly at the moment, but that means in this game, Yastrzemski probably has a usage penalty to come. He's on pace at 131. The penalty will kick in at 150. So he's good. Underwood looks in. Parrish puts a sign down. And there is a change. There's Yaz is yanked and Perez on the plate. And the veteran, Tony Perez, hits it to left field. So one veteran for a veteran. Perez came up to pinch it for Yaz in the end. Just as I was talking about usage. And he hits a double to left field. Evans will hold at third. Perez at second. One out. Red Sox trail 5-1. They need that rally right now. Dave Stapleton comes to the plate. Stapleton has some power. Just batting .217 on the season. Underwood still in there. Underwood sets. Here's the 0-1. Line to left field. 2 runs will score as Dave Stapleton hits a double to left field. So extra bases for Dave Stapleton. Drives home Evans and Perez. So Boston come back. It's 5-3. And they take out Underwood. One pitch too late. As Kevin Saucia will now come into pitch. Kevin Saucia, a lefty from the bullpen. He's 25 years old. A ground ball plus pitcher. Got an excellent fastball. Otherwise known as Hot Sauce. So Kevin Hot Sauce Saucia on the mound. Parrish having a little check to him. They don't want to give up this one. Here's Rick Miller, 0 for 3. Will Boston make a change? Lefty versus lefty. Miller will face. He's 0 for 3 today. Payoff pitch. And Miller chased it out of the zone. First strikeout for Hot Sauce on the mound. Kevin Saucia. I do like the name. Hot Sauce. He looks like trouble, doesn't he? He looks like a lot of trouble. Just by looking at his face. Hey, Big Clue, how are you doing? Didn't see you nip in there, wasn't expecting you. Hope the holiday's going well. And you're not heading to any game stores. Hope you're well, Clue. Hope you're well. I've not really been on this week myself. It's the first time since last weekend. Been busy with some card and dice stuff, actually. Here's Allison, as Big Clue says hi. Here's Allison, 0 for 3. Saucia looks in, gets a sign from Parrish. 2 out here. On the bottom of the 8th. Here's the 0-2. Grounded to Cabell. Cabell will pick it up and take it to the bag himself. So, 2 runs do score on 3 hits and no errors. After 8 complete, Detroit 5, Boston 3. And Boston are running Bergmeyer out there again. Bergmeyer, in this ball game, has pitched 4.1 innings so far. Given up just 2 hits with 2 strikeouts. He's held it close for Boston. Still out there. He's pitched 54 pitches. But leading off the top of the ninth inning now, Lou Whitaker for some insurance runs. And they are making the changes. Aponte comes in. Whitaker 1 for 4. Here's the 3-1. Deep fly to center field. And Rick Miller, the veteran, has it for one away. A nice change up there from Aponte. Louis Aponte. Interesting cheekbones on him. Once again with the moustache. He's a ground ball pitcher. Decent fastball. Can act as a closer as well. 29 years old veteran. Louis Aponte. Not the best fielder in the world. No changes in the outfield or the infield for Boston. Allenson is ready. Aponte is ready as Alan Trammell steps in. He's 1 for 2 today. Here's the payoff pitch. 3-2 pitch. Just inside. And Aponte loses his man and Trammell on base. One out here, top of the ninth inning. Detroit lead 5-3. Howard Johnson steps in. Hojo, the switch hitter. 1 for 4. 21-year-old Howard Johnson. He's ready. Runner on first. Here's the 1-2 to Hojo. Struck him out. Johnson swung and come up empty. Aponte gets the punch out. 2 out. Here's Lance Parrish. Aponte will fire to first. Trammell is safe. Trammell's been on base a few times this game. Lance Parrish, 2 for 3. He's ready. He looks in. Allenson puts the target down. Here's a 2-2. Struck him out. So, Aponte does his job. He gets the punch out. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 8.5 innings, Detroit 5, Boston 3. As Solly Hoffman comes to the plate. And Hot Sauce, Kevin Hot Sauce Saucia, looking to close it down for Detroit. Boston going to make any changes? No. Hoffman going to let bat. Here's the 1-1. Lash to center field. Base hit for Solly Hoffman. So Hot Sauce gives up a hit there. I have to look him up. It's interesting to see his name. Kevin Hot Sauce Saucia. In 1982, he went 3-1 with 5 saves, 3.12 ERA. Here's Jerry Remy, second baseman. Remy having a good season so far, batting .352. Corners are in. Here's the 3-2. Ball is low. Breaking ball low from Saucia. 2 men on. Saucia seems angry with himself, and Parrish will go out to talk to him. Seems like they got crossed themselves up there. It was a good curveball, but down low. Brookins will Trammell and Whitaker join the conversation with Saucia. They're cooking something up. As Connie Lansford comes in. Connie Lansford, a dangerous hitter. 25 years old, would have a good career, particularly with the Oakland A's. Lansford looks in, infield guarding the lines. Nobody out. Go ahead, run at the plate. Man on first and second. Here's the 1-1. And a base hit for Lansford. Hoffman was thinking about coming around third. But no, they stay. And bases loaded for the Red Sox. Hoffman at third. Remy at second. Lansford at first. And at the plate, who else would you want but Jim Rice, Hall of Famer, 1 for 4. Has had 2 game-winning ribbies on the season. Nobody out here. Drama here at Fenway. Saucier looks in. Rice is ready. Parrish puts the target down. Base is loaded. Here's the 0-2. Down the line to Brookins. Brookins backhands it to Whittaker. To first, double play. Hoffman does score. 5-4. Nice double play there by Brookins. Let's have a look at that again. Rice hit it down the line. Brookins up with it. Over to Lou. Lou over to Cabell. But Hoffman scored. Time run at third. Go ahead run at the plate. Yet another power hitter here. Dwight Dewey Evans, 2 for 3. Saucier looks in, really concentrating now. Tugs on his hat. On his cap. Parrish gets into the stance. Evans waiting. He can win it with one swing. Runner on third. Here's the 1-2. Fly ball down the left field line, but Herndon will go back, and that is the ball game. So a bit of an anticlimax here as the Red Sox did come back into it. Mostly on some really good pitching by Tom Bergmeyer, but they just don't have it. Detroit, on the other hand, the young ball club, they take the win. What have I learned today is Larry Herndon is black, not white. I didn't know that. I always assumed he was white for some strange reason. But that doesn't matter, does it? They're all colors of the rainbow. But what I did learn is he's a good left fielder from this particular season because he's got an 8. I didn't know that. To see him in action, maybe I've played him in out of the park. I just never paid attention or I simmed past it. But to see him play left field is pretty good. I've learned that Lim Jones isn't that great as a hitter. Whittaker and Trumler are excellent. Cabell is, I know he's a good player, but he's obviously older. And Brookins is the average third baseman. Parrish looks decent. I've learned Kevin Hot Sauce Saucier has a good name. I learned Tom Berg, but I definitely will look up Tom Bergmeyer. He looked really good today. So, ball game, 5-4. Look at those uniforms from these are from Steve Tate, these cards. Really well. The resolutions look really good. So, Trevor was 1 for 2 with 3 walks. Whittaker was 1 for 5. Not sure why that's highlighted. Parrish was 2 for 4. Underwood gets the win. He pitched pretty well. Bobby Ojeda was wild, and that's what got the Boston to a bad start. However, the Red Sox left 21 men on base. That's not good. They're actually not playing as badly offensive as I'm making out, actually. If you look at Remy, he's batting .352, Lansford .293, Jim Rice .326, and Dwight Evans .315. They're not hitting that bad. It's the bottom of the order that's terrible. I don't think that's going to change either. It's not just early season stuff here. Underwood pitched 7 innings, gave up 10 hits, and gave up 3 earned runs. And Boston, Ojeda was pitched only 3.2 innings, gave up 7 hits and 5 earned runs. He did have minor stuff that was pretty obvious. So I will leave that there for now. What I will say is I will be back later on this afternoon for some more April 24th baseball. Because I want to do a few other things here, which is just have a look. So Toronto and California, we're not doing that one. But there's another one. I might do New York, Cleveland, which I definitely will do. And we'll do the Phillies. So there's 2 more ball games today. No, 4 more. If I can put it in. So let's do this one. So McLaughlin gets the win for Toronto as Bobby Grich goes 2 for 3 for California, but in a losing cause. Montreal, Cincinnati. So we'll leave the rest of them. We'll definitely do Atlanta, definitely do Cleveland. We'll leave New York and play that one now. And the Cubbies get a win over the Mets. Ferguson Jenkins gets his first win, and Jessica Roscoe takes the loss for the New York Mets. Oakland really struggling. And the Brewers only beat them 1-0 on Vukovic with the win. Norris goes 0-5. Texas and Baltimore, that looks like a good one. And Baltimore scrapes a win behind Mike Flanagan. Schmidt takes the loss for Texas. Minnesota, I keep wanting to say Vikings. Minnesota Twins against the Chicago White Sox. White Sox squeak it in a high-scoring game. Kent Rubeck, 4 for 5. Is that with 2 home runs or 2 home runs in the season? I suspect 2 home runs on the season. Lowenstein hit 2 forward, 6 home runs on the season. That makes sense. Oh, we've got so many good games we want to see today. I've seen an H there. So it might be a long day or more long weekend, actually. Kansas City still struggling a bit. Beat Seattle 9-8 behind a win in relief from Dan Quisenberry. Bill Caudill takes the loss. And yet another game that I've signed off here, Philly in Los Angeles. This could be a long day. Over 2 real days. So San Diego and San Francisco, the veteran San Francisco team, up against the up-and-coming San Diego Padres. They got to a really bad start, but seem to be holding their own. But let's have a quick look at that box score. The Giants beat the Padres. Martin with the win. Don't know him, but I do know Joe Morgan. So quite a few games to play today. At some point I'll probably rattle through them in the afternoon or by Sunday. But we're doing April the 24th. So it's a good afternoon from MV. In the UK it's 1:45. Take off for what's that? 9 o'clock in the morning in the US? 9 or 8? So I shall see you all later on. Enjoy your weekend.